Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's first law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts,
Dr. George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
We continue our coverage of Red Country, Joe's third standalone and the next first law entry. And this week, we read through High Stakes. So, let's get started.
We would like to thank you, the people of our nation, of America, England, the two most significant nations that listen to a podcast. The rest of you, scattered throughout the world, are part of a glorious empire. One to spread the good word of Joe Abercrombie, so that one day we may become a bank, as Joe always intended. That is all we have for this section of the podcast. Jeff, you may continue on with the podcast now.
With the Adeptus Historical going on senile rant, displacing the rest of us. We appreciate your support, I guess. And our next, we'll just go into our next segment, which is our community interaction segment. It's the, folks, the memeing every chapter.
Meme in every chapter. Get on there. House of the Meme Maker. Sign up. It's right at the top. The sign-on sheet. You can do it.
Click that link that's in the description of the episode. Sign up. Partake in the community because we need more of that. We saw George pointed out that there was, or Harrison pointed out that there was like a cosplayer on Reddit too. That's pretty cool to see. You don't really see that a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool.
She did.
Yeah, we'll probably mention more of Reddit once we potentially
make our return.
Do something to maybe arise back in favor of a.
Man, you are on it today, aren't you? What was in that pizza? What else did she cosplay as besides Artie?
Oh, she did Baptiste from The Devils.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which, Jeffrey, you totally understand because you've read The Devils now, haven't you?
I fucking am just, you know what?
It's 3 months. It's been like 4 months.
I have like 4 books I'm currently
You're not a true
reading.
fan.
One of them being a Joe Abercrombie book.
But to be fair, I listened to it, but I listened to it in 3 days. I don't know.
Jesus. Anywho, yeah. So go ahead and sign up for the Meeting Every Chapter event, please. That'd be much appreciated. Our boy Sir Spaceman would love that. I think there are obviously still some chapters available, so go on and take those spots. We are going to go ahead and start our chapter read-throughs. Now, if you had been paying attention during the intro, you notice I said just high stakes, even though you might have been led to believe we were going to read 2 because of last week. But obviously, Harrison and George are big fat liars, and the blame lies squarely with them, and that's on them. So we'll start off with high stakes.
It's my fault. I'm wretched.
You are less than wretched.
Oh, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, but we start off high stakes, and this is one of Joe's favorite writing mechanisms is the shifting POVs, the little people chapters, as we call them. And we start off from the perspective of a man named Falcon. And what Falcon is he's the barber. He's the barber of Crease. And so his job is to cut Lamb's hair. And Lamb tells him to shave it all off down to the pate. It makes it nice and shiny.
You know who else loves pate? Stephen Pacey. He loves saying pate.
It is just a Joe Abercrombie word. Like, I never really saw it that much before I read Joe Abercrombie. It's like it's everywhere. It's in every single book. There's a character with the pate.
Some kind of pate. And so Falcon is a blank, bland, professional man. He gives a blank, bland, professional chuckle, a blank, bland, professional smile, a blank, bland, professional orgasm. The man does it all, right? And as soon as he starts cutting his hair, And Lamb gets to pontificating. He says, "Where does it all go?" And Falcon's like, "Do you mean your hair or the time?" Both. And they get into philosophizing a little, over there. And Lamb is also the mayor is also there, and she's looking out into the street, into the circle. The circle, I believe, is drawn up over there in the amphitheater, or no?
Yeah, I assume
It is,
so.
right?
It's it's a perfect place to make a circle with something that's already circular.
Yeah.
To be fair, an amphitheater is half a circle.
No. It's no,
Do they call it an amphitheater?
no, it's an amphitheater. They do call it that, and you mean the stands don't surround the whole theater, the stage.
Right, so it's not a
but
stadium. It's an amphitheater.
amphitheater, but not. It's not It's not a hemispherical. This theater.
No. An amphitheater, like the Colosseum, is an amphitheater. Yeah, it is.
It is.
It just means that it's open air.
Oh, okay. George does know more. He is actually English.
Well, he's not Roman.
That's very
That
true.
doesn't make any fucking sense.
But I know what you mean. You're thinking of like a Greek
Yeah,
amphitheater.
theater.
Our Western mind immediately goes to the origin of all.
No.
Amphitheater.
Amphitheater literally means place to view. That's it. That's all it means. So it just means somewhere where you go to see things.
Okay. Well, now that we got that cleared up.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. It means no. Amphitheater means both sides, around, place for viewing.
Yeah, exactly. So
You
it's
did
just
say
somewhere
that.
where you go and sit.
Yeah. An amphitheater. Okay, open air venue. All right. We got a little distracted there, folks. But anyway, the point is the
Whole Venice argument all over again.
All of George's editing is a nightmare. All of Jeffrey's were like, "Yes, sir, I believe that is a fair point." All of George's are like, "You're stupid." It's like Jeffrey knows that you're editing, so he just makes it more difficult.
I don't.
I think I end up making it more difficult for myself most of the time. So
That's
it's okay.
fair. That's fair.
So basically, they get to philosophizing about how Lamb asks him if it bothers him that hair grows back, that it's always growing back, that there's no beating it. And obviously the barber goes, "Well, it's my job." But also, he says, couldn't it be said for every profession? The merchant sells one thing to another. The farmer harvests a crop. Falcon is talking about these different professions. But Lamb points out that if you kill a man, he stays dead. He goes, "Well, that's interesting perspective. But if I may say so myself, killers rarely stop at one. Once you begin, there's always someone else that needs killing." And Lamb looks at the barber's eyes in the mirror. He goes, "Ah, you're a philosopher after all." And look, after the haircut is done, shaved down to the pate, Lamb looks at himself in the
Obviously,
mirror.
it's a good tactic, isn't it? If you're going to go into an actual like wrestling match or boxing match to the death, you don't want anything for somebody to grab onto.
Right. Which is why you'll see that they both grease themselves up too.
Well, hey, I will say too, like after he says you're a philosopher after all, Falcon's like, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of."
On a strictly amateur footing. He said.
Yeah, strictly amateur footing, and he's like, "Man, this guy's fucking beat to all the hell." he's like, "This guy looks terrible." But then Lamb is like, "Well, he like leans close to him. There's a face of an evil bastard, huh?" After he sees him like looking at him, and Falcon says, "I would venture to say that a face is no more evil than a coat. It is a man beneath and his actions that count." How very wise, the Falcon! Wow. And Lamb says, "No doubt."
And that's
there's a face.
Evil bastard.
Yes. You done the best a man could do with it, though. It ain't your fault. You've given to work with what you've been given to work with.
Yeah. So Lamb's pretty. He's pretty accepting of himself here. He's probably been pretty accepting of himself for quite some time. And
I don't know about that, but go on.
At least in Red Country. All right.
I mean, he's still like you know,
What?
accepting humiliation from people at the beginning, isn't it? You're not very accepting of that.
Because he doesn't want to have to go through the whole rigmarole. There's no reason. But now that the kids have been taken, now he has
Totally valid reason. It's totally okay now.
totally okay for him to go completely bonkers. um. So Lamb is as ready as he'll ever be, talking to the mayor. And the mayor asks Falcon if he has any other jobs, and he goes, "Just the one, gulp, across the street." And she pays him. She goes, "The time is fast approaching when every person in Crease will have to choose one side of the street. I hope you choose wisely." We'll say that choice doesn't really have anything to do with this, but so Falcon leaves, goes across the street, passes through the atmosphere. It's getting very crazy intense because everyone's packing into the amphitheater to try to get there, for the upcoming fight. And he gets into Papa Ring's building, and there's Papa Ring and Glamour Golden, and Papa Ring's the one to tell Falcon to shave it all off, not as opposed to like before it was Lamb that told Falcon. But Glamour makes sure to point out, "Don't touch the mustache. Love this thing." Okay. Okay. And now Glamour starts talking to the barber similar to Lamb did, right? Glamour asks him if he has any regrets.
This is a scene, what I say, a scene, like a part where it's very clearly like written to be for film. You know what I mean? They could have the same camera angles and the same sort of like shot sequence, and it would match up really well, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Glamour talks about how no matter how high he stacks his regrets, he finds that he makes the same mistakes over and over again. And
Interesting. I feel like another individual felt this way recently in this long story.
I feel like everybody feels like that.
I feel like Logan felt like that. Shame he's dead though.
Shame he's dead. And Papa Ring's asking the barber, you were over there with the mayor? How did she seem?" And the barber goes, "Well, she seemed very tense." And Golden goes, "Well, what about the other man, the one I'm fighting?" And Falcon goes, "He seemed thoughtful, regretful, but fixed on his purpose. In all honesty, he seemed very much like you." And then he thinks about it. He goes that he just realized that in all likelihood, he's given at least one of them their very last haircut. Then we switch on over to the perspective of B. Now, we remember B, folks.
I do have something to say now that we're done with that scene. Like you said, that there's a parallels between Logan and Lamb. Lamb is regret. Sorry, not Logan and Lamb. Jesus, Glamour Golden and Lamb, and Lamb is like in the zone. He's ready to do it. He seems a little eager. Glamour Golden's just like regretful and sad and blah blah blah. But also, this is a small thing, but when it comes to Carlotte and Logan being there, it reminded me of a scene inside of Best Served Cold whenever Shivers is getting his haircut with Monza there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like the way that they're there in there like getting ready and stuff, it almost feels like Joe did such a good job at like having background story. Like I can just see the kind of conversations Carlotte and Logan are saying. Carlotte wants to push Logan into becoming more violent so he can beat Glamour Golden while simultaneously acting like it's the right thing. Logan is aware of that, just like how Shivers was aware of Monza pushing him, but thinks that, that it's fine, that he's beyond that he's not influenced by her, that he's made his own man, making his own decision. And I just feel like there's so much, we don't know anything for facts for how they interacted with each other, but I don't know why. That scene just reminded me of like how Carlotte is, how Logan is, how Shivers is, how Monza was, all their similarities. And I thought it was kind of a cool parallel. I always think of that scene whenever we read that part with Logan and Carlotte.
Well put.
Yeah, I like that.
Very well put. I love this scene as well. I just love the fact as well that Glamour Golden keeps his mustache.
Yeah, ironic.
That's the thing that you think about.
I think it's very funny because he's like obviously like a little bit more aware, and he's obviously quite sad as well about everything he's had to leave behind. and it's just funny. He's like, no, but I still want to keep the mustache. It's pretty.
I like how Falcon he notes that there's actually more than a few gray hairs in that mustache, but whatever.
It's easier when you're blonde. It's fine.
That's true. That's true. So we'll switch. So we switch over to B, her perspective. If we remember B. She is Gregor Cantless's. I don't want to say side piece. I don't want to say. I don't want to
it's
say
not
main
in a
queen.
non-
This is a terrible abusive relationship.
Yeah.
That's what
Thank you.
honestly
I would say.
Yeah. Victim, I think, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, victim is probably the right one. Yeah.
And she's in her room, but then she hears footsteps passing the door. And B just knows by the footsteps that it's Gregor. She goes out and she goes, Gregor, and he turns almost, and he's not happy to see her. And he looks a little drunk. And he goes, what? And B doesn't like this because B, obviously the victim of a toxic, abusive relationship.
Yeah, because she's obviously like obsessed with him because like she knows his footsteps.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
just a little bit
That's
obsessive.
not,
you know?
I mean, I don't think obsessive is the right word. I mean, as you see later when she describes about how he chose her out of a room, it's more like he
Yeah.
was her pimp. And
Yes, exactly. That's what I don't mean this as like a negative towards her. I mean like that's
Yeah.
just a proof of like the abusiveness of the relationship that she knows that like immediately because she's been conditioned into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. And well, she had been kind of thinking or fantasizing about their reunion. And in all those scenarios, there wasn't one where she was basically ignored. And she goes, "Is that all you have to say to me?" And Gregor just basically ignores her. I got nothing to say to you. I got to go see Papa Ring. And she stops him, and she is basically yelling, "Where are the children?" And he tells her to mind her own business. She goes, "You made me bring him with you." And he goes, "You could have said no." But then he smiles at her. He goes, "If you must know, I sold them to the dragon fuckers up in the hills." Like, ooh. And she doesn't know what they'll do with them. She asks him, and he goes, "I don't know. Fuck them, eat them. What does he care?" Which is like, ugh, ugh.
But I do like, what do you think I was gonna do? Start an orphanage?
Yeah, and then he calls her a stupid cow. Doesn't
Sow.
know
Damn.
sow. Sorry.
Same thing. That's
All right.
No, sow is a pig.
A sow's a pig. He
Yeah.
doesn't know that he ever met anyone stupider than her. After he calls her a stupid sow, she loses it, rightfully so. And she attacks him, claws, scratches at his face,
Would have bitten him.
basically almost would have bitten him, but then he punched her, flinging her to the floor. He is so offended that she laid hands on him. What the fuck did you do that for? You hurt my hand. Oh.
He's such a pathetic little weasel, isn't he? He's like,
is.
oh look, my hand.
It hurt, Charlie. And so he kicks her in the ribs, and she goes, "I hate you," and he goes, "So," and he looked at her like she was a maggot. This is very similar to Baez and Giselle's little disagreement, if you remember at the end of the last argument, Kings. But this feels a lot worse, I feel like, in terms of
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, very uncomfortable. And this is where she, recounts to herself, where she remembers the day he chosen her out of everybody in the room to dance with, and now she saw the whole thing fresh, and it seems so ugly, and he seemed so petty and vain and selfish. He just used people and threw them away and left a trail of ruin behind him. How could she ever have loved him? Just because for a few moments he made her feel one step above shit. The rest of the time, 10 steps below. Oof. Oof. So she then kind of says that you're so small. And that pricked his vanity. So he goes to take it to, a couple more steps to her again. This time she whips out her knife. Oh, and he goes, "Ah, okay, all right." But then he does, he does walk around her and leaves her. And then once she starts getting, the dizziness passed and everything, she walks to the kitchens. She goes, Papa Ring said that I need to feed that woman. What woman could she be talking about here? Cook goes, the soup is in the pot. She grabs a bowl, tray, the whole shebang, and she goes down to the cellar. And the woman in the cage, which at this point, folks, it's Shy, if you didn't realize it. Uh, Shy's in the cage, and there is a guy watching her or keeping guard. His name is Warp. He's sitting at a table, and he is
An
attempting.
incredible name.
It is, and he is attempting to read a book, although that is difficult to do because it is upside down.
You know what? There's a lot of characters in this chapter, and it's a little people chapter. We all have our favorites, but honorable mention to Warp here. Look at him go. Look at him soar. Who else would have a confidence to read a book like when you can't read?
He gets credit for trying, eh?
I like how she goes. That B goes. She wasn't no wonder with her letters, but even she could tell that he had it upside down. Oh,
The funny part is that this guy's like alone down here. He's not proving to anybody anything.
Just
He's
Shy.
Well, I mean,
if he literally doesn't understand the letters, it doesn't matter if it's upside down. It all looks the same.
what is he doing? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He's trying.
He's coming up with his own story in his head. And so a little bit back and forth. She tells him that Papa said for her to feed Shy. Okay, fine. I'm watching you though. So she gets into the cage with Shy. Shy gets a little bit like, "What are you gonna do here?" But just give her some water and give her some food. And she whispers to Shy. She goes, "You asked me about Cantless before, about Cantless and the children." And Shy goes, And so B tells her that he sold the children to the dragon people. That's what he said. And Shy asks her why. B goes, because Cantless needs hurting. I can't do it. And she gives her the knife. She cuts Shy's wrist bonds. She gives her the knife to like keep in her person to hide it somewhere. And she goes, I reckon you can though. And so then there's a bit of a break. We are now at Papa Ring's perspective. And he's nervous. He's watching everybody get ready for the fight. He's looking out across the balcony. He's out on the balcony and he's looking out across the street at the mayor, who's also watching him and watching the proceedings. And Gregor Cantless is there, picking at his teeth with the splinter, aka the forerunner to the toothpick. And he looks sourly.
It's the most villain shit ever. Be like,
Yeah.
let me pick my teeth with a toothpick. Let me eat an apple.
Oh, I've got a mysterious trinket with a even more mysterious background.
Well, the story was way more interesting than mine.
He doesn't like Gregor, but Gregor is, it's what he has that's available to him in terms of a kind of class of thug. And he's also watching Golden make his way through the crowd, and then he sees Lamb make his way through the crowd as well. And Gregor's like the one that goes, I don't like the looks of that old bastard. And Papa goes, yeah, neither do I. But Papa, he believes he has all the odds stacked in his favor, but that doesn't guarantee anything. And Gregor Cantler's like, well, still a hell of a risk to bet the town on a fight, all that stuff, or just even to steal the woman, everything. And he goes, I wouldn't have had to take that if you hadn't stole his children and sold them to the savage. And Gregor is surprised at this, and he goes, yeah, I figured it out. And he goes, how much lower can a man stoop selling children? And then Gregor has the balls, he has the audacity to go, that's so fucking unfair. You said, get the money by winner, or I'd be a dead man. You didn't concern yourself with the source. You want me to give the money back? Free yourself of its base origins? Papa Ring looks at the old box and doesn't, just frowns back. He doesn't say anything. And Gregor goes, didn't think so. How's I supposed to know? This old bastard would wriggle out the long grass. And Papa is so angry. He is angry, but he's going to speak very slow and deliberate. He goes, because you should have learned by now there's consequences when you fucking do a thing. And a man can't wander through life thinking no further ahead than the end of his cock.
You're not my dad. Oh, sorry. That's not what he said. That's not what he says. My bad.
He basically does.
I love the fact that Gregor Cantless, who is like the inciting incident for the whole story, is just this whiny little piece of shit. He's just this fucking awful worm. I hate him so much.
And then he goes, yeah, right after Papa Ring says that, Gregor goes, so fucking unfair. And Papa Ring, he goes, he has to think about when was the last time he punched somebody in the face. He goes, are you a child to whine about what's fair? You think it's fair I had to stand up for a man who can't tell a good hand of cards from a bad, but I still have to bet an almighty pile of money he doesn't have on the outcome? You think it's fair I have to threaten some girl's life to make sure of a fight? He goes, what's God fucked fair about all of that? He says, go and get the woman. He goes, what? The woman. The mess that you're cleaning up, bring her up here so Lamb can see that I'm a man of my word. And, Gregor, he goes out the door. Before that, he whines that he might miss the start of the fight. Papa goes, you keep talking, you're going to be missing the rest of your fucking life. And then he stomped for the door, Gregor, and Ring thought he heard him mutter, ain't fair. Oh, I hate this guy.
It's just made to be so hateable. He's probably, I think he gets underlooked for Joe's most like hateable characters.
Oh.
Like obviously Leo Danbrook and a few others that I could mention go on the list, but nobody really talks about Cantless. But Cantless is just so fucking awful. Not only is he evil, he's also a whiny piece of shit.
There's nothing redeeming about the guy.
There's nothing. It's awful.
You know what I mean? Other characters have redeeming qualities, or you can actually relate to them. You can be empathetic. Not Gregor.
Nope.
Can't see
Gregor
myself
is
stealing
just-
kids
it's
and
just
whining
a
about
piece
what's
of
there.
shit.
Yeah.
But again, it's so relatable. Like the actual his core value is that he's just so self-pitying.
Yeah.
And you can't fucking stand somebody that is just always like that.
It's not fair. Life's not
It's
fair.
not fair. Life's
No.
not fair. It's not my fault. I never did anything. Oh, fuck off.
Papa Ring is thinking about the new class of thugs he has to hire as he's looking out, and the crowd is starting to quiet because the fight's about to get started, it looks like. And then we switch over to a different perspective, and it's Camling's perspective. From Camling's hostelry, the one that I said that reminds me of E.B. Farnham from Deadwood. Well, folks, here we go again, and this time I think I'm on the nose here because he kind of he thinks like somebody that reads like a Reader's Digest to get his everyday vocabulary. So Camling is the referee for this fight. And as a referee, he's also the announcer. So he's Bruce Buffer and Herb Dean all rolled into one. And he goes, welcome all to the Stork Theater of Crease. A fight, my friends and neighbors, and what a fight. And everyone's starting to go like cockling. They're like, get the fuck on with it.
I love the fact that Camling, like we've only seen a little bit of him, and he's always just been a bit like a bit meek. But he's got like this deep down sort of like sense of, yes, we're going to bring culture to the country. And he's talking about your Steph Lestek. It's like, I tried to bring Hawaii, it didn't work. These fucking savages.
No, because what a farce that had been.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. I can only imagine him in like lacy cuffs and whatnot. Just
Yeah, he's like a total dandy.
yeah, but threadbare. You know what I mean? And so he starts with the introductions. He goes, standing for Papa Ring, a man who needs no introduction. And somebody goes, then why give him one? It's like, he talks about how this guy has made a name fighting for himself across the fighting pits, cages, and circles of the near and far countries ever since he left his native north. A man undefeated in 22 encounters. Glamour Golden. Boom, boom, boom. Woo, woo. He steps in and he steps on his shoulder, and then he goes to introduce Lamb, and he goes, and standing for the mayor, his opponent, Lamb.
And the crowds are like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the idea too that like the
It's less
people
enthusiastic.
from the fellowship are there and they're like, yeah, woo.
yeah." There's just like the lamb block.
It basically is, and like Camling notes, less enthusiastic cheering, but this man is just as scarred, if not more so. So he is not to be doubt. He's not going to doubt his familiarity with violence. And Camling leans in. He goes, "Just that for a name?" Says, "That's as good as another." And he's just staring at Glamour. And Camling notes that everyone considers Lamb to be the underdog, and Camling himself had almost discounted him until that very moment because he's the older, smaller, leaner man, right? The gambler's odds are against him. But Camling noticed something in his eye that gave him pause, an eager look, as though he had an awful hunger and golden was the meal. And the bigger man's face, by contrast, had a trace of doubt as Camling ushered the two together in the center of the circle. And over the roar of the audience, Golden goes, "Do I know you? What's your real name?" And Lamb just I forgot about this part because when I was thinking back about it, before, I always thought Lamb said something akin like, we might have met or we don't really know each other." But I'm reading it. He goes, no, he's stretching his neck out side to side, and he goes, "Maybe it'll come to you." And I'm just reading this like, oh my God, Lamb is he practically has an erection for this.
Maybe it'll come to you. It's awesome.
And then Camley goes, "May the best man win!" And then over the roar, he hears Lamb say, "It's the worst man wins these."
I'm gonna say it's interesting that because obviously how famous that Logan was in the North at the time when he was at his most active, you would have thought that Glamour Golden would have been around and would have recognised him, but the fact that they've both been shaved.
Both been shaved.
Yeah.
Logan's older. He's in his 50s, right?
Yeah,
And Glamour has to be, what, in his 30s, maybe 40s, we're assuming?
yeah, I'd say so.
So 10 years younger, right, than Logan. So when
Yeah,
Logan,
yeah.
and remember, Logan was really like his fame and everything when he was doing that through his 20s. So that means Glamour might be a teen. Times change, people
He's probably
change.
way
scores.
down in the hall. He's at the lower
Yeah.
table, so he doesn't really like get a good look at him.
A really good look at him. But maybe not. Maybe it's like you said earlier though, George, is like older and shaved head. And
I mean, I
bet
don't
you-
think. Yeah, I don't think he was in his teens, but yes, no doubt. Like he was. Like I don't think he probably ever met Logan like in person like that.
maybe.
But he-
Well, maybe. But also, and remember, Logan, you just know his fists are. He's not showing off the missing finger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
you
you'll
only
be
really,
fist clipped.
have to hold your hand up to actually like see that.
Yeah. So that's the end of that part of the chapter. We're gonna stop here, and we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is our best meme of the week. Georgie boy, that's a you. Take it away.
Thank you. How the fuck do you pronounce that? Okay, this is from user Psych Bamboo.
It's like bamboo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think it's so funny.
So it's a good name. It's as good as any other, right?
Good as any other.
And it's the King Ghidorah meme, where two of the heads are very serious and one of them is silly, and it's how he looks, how he fights, and the silly one is how he talks, which could apply to quite a few different characters in the first law, I think.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, I think people said Bremerdan Gorse, which clearly.
Bremerdan Gorse immediately, yeah.
But I also
Everyone's like, "Oh my god, that guy's so scary," and he's like, "Hi."
Very true, very true. But I also thought of Friendly. Remember, we thought of Friendly. This
Yeah,
looks like-
Friendly does that definitely sounds very fucking silly. Although I'd still think he'd sound quite intimidating if you saw him kill somebody and then he just looks at you and goes, 9 and 12. It's like, what the fuck?
Either that or you insult his dice, then he gets scary, even verbally.
That is true. That is true.
But what's another one? I'm trying to think. Who is someone that fights and looks like a badass, but sounds like
Somebody said Frost.
Oh
The lisp.
yeah.
A lisp.
Oh
Oh,
man, I
that's funny.
forgot about that. How funny he was. Hilarious.
Poison.
Poison. Oh.
And
Yeah.
also Glocta as well, but I think those things don't really line
Nah,
up.
because he doesn't look
Because he can't
intimidating.
really fight, can he?
Thinking, nah, back in the
Yeah.
day, yeah, but no. Pharaoh?
No, she sounds
in the
scary.
maybe in the audiobook she's a bit
Stupid pink. Sacre bleu.
And somebody said Leo as well, because Leo just says stupid shit all the time.
I mean, yeah, he is dumb. He is
Yeah.
dumb.
I mean, there's it applies a lot. That's a lot
Yeah,
of people.
it applies to a lot of characters. Lot of characters.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Psych Bamboo.
Appreciate that. It's a good one. I mean, we all know he means Bremer, but
100%. Yeah, 100%.
uh-huh. But thank you for that, Psych Bamboo. And with that, we return to our chapter read through to finish up High Stakes. And we start off the next part with Glamour's perspective. And Glamour, in his mind, he goes, "This is his last fight." That much he knows. They're circling each other, getting a feel for each other. You know, they're getting each other's range. And he's thinking about all the failures and regrets that follow him day after day. It had to be his last fight because he thought the far country was a place where man could find his dreams, and he came searching for a way to claim back all he lost. But this was all that he found. So, Glamour Golden, mighty war chief, hero of Allen Sand, is out here in the fighting pits, and
which is a classic fantasy story. There's always a character that I say, "Oh, yeah, I've been in the fighting pits for 10 years." Like it's just
There is, yes.
it's a proper archetype. But I love the way that Joe plays on it.
Oh right, yeah, you're right. Because then that person always ends up making it out of the fighting pits.
Yeah, and then
like,
they better themselves. It's
reclaim-
like, I
yeah,
can leave it behind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He starts he starts thinking about how this lamb, he can move well. He's no stranger, but he wonders what failures Lamb had encountered. What were his regrets? What dream had he come chasing after into this circle? Buddy, if only you knew. And apparently he thinks back to when Papa Ring told him to leave him alive, but Papa Ring doesn't understand what this is really about. There's no choice in a fight like this. It's life and death. Lamb knows it. He could see it in his eyes. It's only two men in the circle, and only one's gonna come out. And Golden at this point had gotten enough of Lamb's movement, his range, and so now he goes. He rushes, does some punches. Realizes, he knows that Lamb can take a punch, and he's just still calm and steady.
I like to how Golden is he's like this. He kind of does the same thing that Logan does, right? Like he gets kicked out of his homeland, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta
shucks.
figure shit out. I'm gonna be a better person. This is my time." And he ends up back in the fighting pits, but the attitudes are quite a bit different, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Glamour Golden is just working here.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, this is my job. I beat the shit out for a living.
And he's gonna take that money, right? The idea is he's gonna take the money and get back to the north, right?
Yep.
And so
That's the
he
idea.
starts getting to work. He has the reach and the weight and the youth, but he takes nothing for granted. He would be cautious. He would make sure, because this would be his last fight after all. Then
I just want to say as well. Sorry, Jeff, before you go on. I thought this is the only Little People chapter or the multiple POV chapter where we return to the same POV.
Oh, yeah. At least him. Yep.
Because this is Glamour Golden's chapter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We could say that. So we switch over perspectives to this other character. His name is Payne, spelled P-A-N-E. Not Pate. So Payne is basically, it looks like he's just a guard keeping watch of the Papa Ring's building. I forget what it's called. The Emporium, the Fuck Palace, whatever. And he's the only one left behind.
The decadence of man.
And he goes to this, he opens the door because somebody is banging on it and doesn't have a slot, which I like how he had said this before, but no one took notice of him. And this is probably what would have helped him. But he has to open the door, and there's this old drunk, tall and bony, gray hair plastered to one side, And he goes, I want to get fucked. And Payne goes, don't let me stop you. And he goes to close the door, but the guy wedges his boot in it and he goes, I want to get fucked. And Payne goes, we're closed.
It's like, get out of here, dude.
He goes, I heard that the White House is never closed to business. Not never. And Payne goes, shit, that's true. Never closed.
Damn, you got me,
You
cuz.
got me. Papa Ring's always telling them. But Papa Ring did also say be triple careful today. That he doesn't want any mistakes.
I love the fact that it immediately goes to just Papa Rig saying, "Be triple careful today. I don't want any mistakes." It's literally the same thing repeated over because this guy is just so stupid. Like that's just his entire inner monologue. It's just repeating the same thing over and over.
So then the guy goes, I want to fuck. And Payne goes, fine. And he opens the door and he turns to go like call for someone. And then out of nowhere, he just feels an arm slipping around his neck and a cold point pressed into his throat. And the old guy goes, where's the woman you took? Shy South, skinny thing with the big mouth. Where is she? And he goes, I don't know. And this guy goes, well, I guess I might as well open you up then. Folks, I think we can figure this out. This is Savian. And he goes, all right, she's in the cellar. And he goes, all right, well, I'm following you. And he goes, and if you struggle anymore, that eye's coming out because the knife is now like right at the eye socket. And he goes, okay, fine. And I like how Savian tells him, he goes, you're just a fool who opens the door. So I reckon you don't owe Papa Ring too much. He's finished anyway. Take me to the woman and do nothing stupid. You'll live to be the fool who opens someone else's door. Makes sense? Makes sense. Because it's choking. He's choking.
Yeah, I got that.
Making sure you got that.
No, you know what? I thought he got drunk off of that. Why don't you clarify?
And so then we switch perspectives. And Glamma, we're back to Glamma's perspective now. And Glamma is, he has bloodied up this old man's face up. You know, he had Lamb's measure, and even the blood in Glamma's mouth tasted like victory. This would be his last fight. Remember, this would be his last fight. Back to the north with Ring's money, win back his honor, his children, cut his revenge out of Cairn, Ironhead, and Black Calder. Oh, and the thought of those just brought up a lot of hatred in him. And came in and they just fighting. They're wrestling, grabbing onto each other, and next thing you know, they go to the ground, and Glamma feels a tugging pain in his mouth. And
no rules here, guys. This is unlicensed boxing.
No holds barred.
Fish hooking is allowed.
Yeah, so basically he got fish hooked, and so he tore himself away, and he saw that as Lamb rolled up, Glamma saw that Lamb had yellow hairs caught in one fist, and Golden realized that he torn half his mustache out. Oh, and Glamma is mad. He is absolutely mad. So.
What a good symbol of like his ego being bruised and why he just like explodes, because it's the only thing that he wanted to save, because it's like his personality, his identity.
Right. It's like who he was.
Yeah.
From the north, right?
So Lamb is literally ripping away who he is.
Right. And so Glamour goes in and he's out there and just punching him left and right, just staggering Lamb to the point where Lamb's his hands dropped, his face goes slack, his eyes get glassy, and Glamour knows that the moment had come. I mean, Glamour may think so.
We know.
We know what that face means. And he stepped in swinging with all of his strength and landed the father of all punches right on the point of Lamb's jaw. He watched the old man stumble, fist dangling, waiting for Lamb's knees to buckle so he could spring on top of him and put an end to it. But Lamb didn't fall. He tottered back a pace or two into the circle and stood, swaying, blood drooling from his open mouth and his face tipped into shadow. Then Golden caught something over the thunder of the crowd, soft and low, but there was no mistaking it. The old man was laughing. He goes, "What the fuck?" Because he feels like now he feels a chill doubt wash over him because he wasn't sure he could hit a man any harder than that. And he yells out, "Who are you?" And Lamb smiles at him like an open grave and stuck out his red tongue and smeared blood from it across his cheek in long streaks. He held up his left fist and gently uncurled it. So he looked at Golden, eyes wide and weeping wet like two black tar pits, through the gap where his middle finger used to be.
Nice.
The
Guys, I
crowd had,
think that's the bloody nine.
the crowd had fallen eerily quiet, and Golden's doubt turned to a sucking dread because he finally knew the old man's name. By the dead, he whispered. It can't be. But he knew it was. And I like this part where it says, no one cheats the great leveler forever. And now Glamour Golden felt the sweat turn cold on him, and the fire inside guttered out and left only ashes. And he knew this would be his last fight indeed. God damn. God damn. That's so good, right?
It's awesome.
I
like to
love that.
go,
Yeah.
George. Go.
No, you.
I was just gonna say I like the idea too that like we've only actually seen properly the Bloody Nine. We haven't even. This is the first time we've actually seen him too. Like we've been kind of like holding our breath back. And I know George, you're like, oh, it's kind of Bloody Nine the whole time, but like proper, like not himself, not Logan at all, full on.
It's always in the original trilogy. It's always when he's been pushed to the point where he wouldn't normally go on anymore.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
And then he dissociates.
Yes. Yes, so this is the first time we're truly seeing it. We did hear some laughing in the wind whenever the ghosts were attacking, and maybe. But but this is the first time we actually see it, and I like how Logan doesn't even really put up a fight. He knows what he's gonna unleash. He knows what is gonna happen. Could he have beaten Glamour without this? Maybe. Did he want to defeat it without it? No, he was ready. He was ready to be released from his responsibility to finally be free to be a killer. I love it. It's so badass.
Oh man. And he doesn't like how Gorse he goes, I love war. He goes and talks about it.
Yeah.
Logan / Lamb doesn't really need to talk about it. He just feels it right in his cock. He just feels it right down to his core.
I find that interesting though because that's the thing when when there's like a crush in like a crowd. Mm-hmm. People always report like afterwards, like you can tell like there's a bit where like, the mood changes.
Yes.
And you're like, right, something bad is going to happen. And every single person is like, yeah, something bad is going to happen. Because there's some like primal instinct that just makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Yes, that does exist.
Yeah. they pick up on it too. They go, something's wrong.
Yeah, this is bad. I don't know what it is yet, but something's bad.
It's not good. That's for damn sure.
That's not good. That's for damn sure. So then we switch back to perspectives, and we're now in Gregor Cantless's perspective, and oh my god, this whiny little bitch. He goes, so fucking unfair. All that effort spent dragging those mewling brats all across the far country, all that risk bringing them to the dragon people, every bit repaid and interest to, and what thanks? Just Papa Ring's endless moaning and another shitty task to get through. Ugh. How hard he worked, things never went his way. A man just can't get a fair go. Ugh. Yeah. And then
I could have lived without seeing this guy's perspective, to be honest.
And then he touches the scratches on his face, and he thinks about B and the wrong-headed stupidity of womankind. Remember, here at Circle of the World, we like women. We like women.
We could not hate this guy anymore until he said that. Like, okay.
And he goes, after everything I've done for that whore. Yeah. And then I like how he thinks that idiot Warp was pretending to read as Kenless stalked her around the corner.
Oh, so he actually was pretending. Okay, that's fair enough.
And he goes, "Come on, man." He goes, "What do you?" He goes, "What do you think you're doing?" And then he looks at Shy, because he's telling him to open the cage, and he looks at Shy. He goes, "What do you think you're looking at, bitch?" And Shy goes, "A fucking coward." And he kind of stopped. He goes, What? He goes, "Oh, even this skinny thing disrespecting him? Oh, hell no." She goes, he goes, "What'd you say?" She goes she goes close to the cage, the bars of the cage. She hawks a fucking loogie at this guy's shirt.
Say one thing for Shy Styles.
She can
She
spit.
knows how to make a loogie.
Say one thing for
And
Shy.
you know, if you're dehydrated in the cell as well, you know that's got to be one chunky loogie.
Yeah.
She was cooking that one up for a little while.
Yeah.
That's just pure mucus.
Say one thing about Shy. She doesn't swallow. She's a spitter. So
How dare you?
and so right on his shirt, and she goes, "Coward cunt."
Excellent.
And that's it.
Perfect.
He snapped. He snapped. Like, "Get the cage open." And Warp was like, "Right, there are." But if he can't read a book,
Wolver's like, "My Papa Ray." Oh, never mind.
he's probably like, "Wow, let me see what I can do for you here." And then he can't tell the difference between 3 keys, and he goes, "Oh, give me the fucking keys!" And he jams one in, unlocks it, throws open the gate, and he grabs her by the shirt, has her against the wall, and he goes, and then he starts crushing, like grabs her jaw, and he wants to like squeeze it shut, and then he feels pain in his thigh, and he gives a shriek, and then another jolt, and then he kind of totters against the wall, and Warp goes, "What are you doing?" But then Cantless turns around and sees that Warp is against the cage, and a picture of stupid surprise, and Shy has him with one hand and punching him in the gut with the other, and Cantless realizes that she has a knife, and
She's got a knife.
Cantless realizes that she had stabbed him, and he flung himself at her, and he caught her around the back because she's still stabbing Warp, and they fall through the cage door, and she gets out of his grasp. She's punching him in the mouth, and he's punching her, and then she gets out of his grasp again, and then he basically like fucking smashes her head into the leg of the table, and is able to get the knife, and now he's on top of her, and because his mouth got punched, his lips are swollen, and he's like, "Now with sucking feet, succotash."
And then Shy holds up her hand and looks between the middle finger and goes, "I'm the bloody knife."
Oh my god. And so then he brings up the knife to stab down, and then his wrist gets twisted around suddenly, and he's dragged off her, and then his mouth got something smashed into his mouth, and then he sees the knife on the ground, and he's crawling for it. He reaches for it, and a big boot basically smashes his hand, and then another boot came and kicked the blade away, and he tried to move, but he couldn't move his hand. And the old man, which is Savian, goes, "You want me to kill him?" And Shy goes, "No, I want to kill him." And she grabs the knife, and she walks towards him, and he's like, "No, please, you need me. You want your children back, right? Ain't easy getting up there. I can show you the ways. You need me. I'll help. I'll put it right. It wasn't my fault. It was Ring. He said he'd kill me. I didn't have no choice. You need me. Boo, boo." And Savian goes, "Ugh, what
hate
thing
him.
is this?"
I love how Savian's immediate reaction is disgust
And content, yeah. And
this is gross.
she goes, so Shy goes, "Let's keep our options open, take him with us." She goes, "We can always kill him later." Now, we switched perspectives, and I love this perspective because it is somebody's first time witnessing the goofy shenanigans that Logan gets up to. Let's just say. That's one way to put it. He was deeply concerned. We are now in the perspective of
But dude, Mahmoud,
Abraham Mahoud, and he was deeply concerned, not about the result because that's no longer in doubt, but what would come after. Because after with each exchange, he notices that Golden is getting weaker. His face, as far as he could see through the blood and swelling, was a mask of fear. Meanwhile, by terrible contrast, Lamb's smile was splitting wider with every blow given or received. It had become the demented leer of a drunkard, of a lunatic, of a demon, no trace remaining of the man Mahood had laughed with on the plains. An expression so monstrous that observers in the front row scrambled back onto the benches whenever Lamb lurched close. They were like, "Oh, Jesus
So
Christ!"
fucking cool. I say it's cool. It's terrifying.
Terrifying. It's terrifying.
But
But
I love the fact that Mahood is very willing to overlook these things. Where he's like, yeah, he fucking rips Sanjeev's head off. That's okay. But because I didn't see it, it's fine.
but he's never saw this level from Lamb. And then the audience was he noticed that the audience was turning as ugly as the show because he's thinking about all the people that laid bets. They laid bets on Golden, and clearly Lamb is not gonna lose. And they're like, they probably feel like they've been like swindled or something. But there's like a collective insanity going on, and it's starting to remind him strongly of a battle, a place he had very much hoped never to visit again, which I want to talk to you and Harrison about at the end of this chapter. But and in the battle, he knew that there were always casualties, and he looks back to Lamb's. We sent Golden reeling with the right hand, but then Lamb catches him, fish hooks him again, and this time rips his cheek wide open, blood spotting the nearest onlookers. And Kernsbick is there, and he's watching it through the fight through his fingers, like he's covering his face, and he goes, "Oh my!" And Mahoud he tells him we should go, but there's no easy way to get out of there. He sees that Lamb had grabbed Golden's arm, was wrapping his own around it, forcing him onto his knees. The pinned hand flopping uselessly. Then Mahoud heard Golden scream. Then the sharp pop at his elbow snapped back the wrong way. Skin horribly distended around the joint. Ooh. And Lamb was on him like a wolf on the kill, giggling as he seized Golden around the throat and starts smashing his forehead into his face. Again. Very similar to what he did to the Stone Shitter. In the first one.
Yeah. I think this is the first time, apart from Pharaoh, that we actually see somebody else's perspective about what Leggett is doing.
I don't even think we saw Pharaoh's perspective.
No, we didn't. We just saw it after, didn't we?
Yeah. And we see, but we do see West in the fight against Fenris. He doesn't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
He goes, "What the fuck is going on here?"
But this is just something else, isn't it? Because obviously he's so overpowered. Or sorry, he's so overpowered by Fenris in that fight that it's more like he has to become the Bloody Nine to like level it. Whereas this is just a slaughter.
Are you saying that he becomes the great leveler for a moment? He levels.
He levels.
And he knows, and Mahoud sees that the crowd is either in joy or in their dismay at the outcome, because this is pretty much it. and then Mahoud sees bodies heaving in the stands, right? The sky was suddenly lit by a bloom of orange flame. A moment later, a thunderous boom shook the arena, and it seems like there's explosions going off now at this point too. A man staggers into the circle, clutching at his guts, and fell not far from where Lamb was still intent on smashing Golden's head apart with his hands. And then fire is coming out from Papa Ring's side of the street. And Kernsbick is noting that this is explosive powder because he's watching it, right? And then Mahoud grabs him by the arm and he's dragging him, across the bench. And he could in between the chaos and the pandemonium, he could see Lamb smiling, and his smile is lit by one of the torches, and he's beating someone's head against one of the pillars with the regular crunch, the stone smeared black.
He's just fucking murdering random individuals at this point.
He just loves smashing heads.
Yeah, and Mahoud has a suspicion that the victim was Camling.
Oh shit, poor Camlin.
Hamling did not deserve that. He's not coming up in the cat. He might be coming up in the cat.
He might be, yeah. I think he will be.
Does not deserve that though.
No. And Kernsberg sees this and he goes, "Oh my, oh my!" And so
The
Mahmoud
whole time, yeah, Kern speak like every other like every paragraph. He's like, "Oh my, oh my."
And so Harrison, this is where I want. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end of the chapter. But Mahou draws a sword, and it's the one that General Malzagurt had given him as thanks for saving his life. So we know he was in the Empire of the Gurkish Empire's army, right? We'll talk about this at the end of the chapter. And so now it's now it's just pandemonium, right? Everyone's trying to get away. There's explosions going off. So Mahou's dragging Kernsbeck through it all, ignoring everything, ignoring the fighting. It's every man for himself. Again, like you said before, Kernsbeck is just going, "Oh my, oh my," and he sees that the mayor is still staring at the street from her balcony. She's pointing at something and giving orders to a man beside her, just calmly directing. And Mahou's kind of figuring out, oh, she never intended to sit back and just wait for the result of the fight. She set this up, and there's arrows being shot. There's somebody one of the mayor's men is out there beating people, right? Beating people up and everything. And so he sees that there's a woman that leapt from a balcony from the fuck palace and fell into the mud, and two other corpses are laying by. And Kernsbeck goes, "We should try to help." And Mahou's like, "Nope, no, let's go. We do not need to," because he knows that mercy, along with all the trappings of civilized behavior, was a luxury they could not afford right now. So he gets the key to the shop, gives it to Kernsbeck to open while Mahou, is looking out, standing guard, while Kernsbeck gets the door open. Then they spill inside, and they close the door shut, and Mahou's like, "Oh, thank Christ." And then he feels a hand on his shoulder, and he turns around, he nearly takes off Temple's head with the sword, but he goes, "What?" And Temple goes, "What the hell's going on? Who won the fight?" And Mahmoud is breathing heavily, and he goes, "Lamb tore Golden apart." Literally. Kernsbeck goes, "Oh my." Temple goes, "What about Chai?" He doesn't know anything. He has no idea about anything, but he suspects that the mayor is cleaning house. The White House is ablaze to its top floor, and Temple asks him, "Shouldn't we help?" Mahmoud goes, "A good man of business remains neutral." I like how Temple goes, "Surely there's a moment to cease being a good man of business and try to be merely a good man." Mahmoud goes, "Perhaps, but this is not that moment." And that's
he's stingy with his morals that he is with his money.
No, but he's smart. This is you do not get involved in this.
Yeah, but being stingy with your money is smart as well, so it makes sense.
Well, whatever. So that's the end of that chapter. Boys, how do you rate it?
I think this chapter is a 9 out of 9 because it's got everything. It's got the violence. It's got like some characters, a lot of character work, some characters that we've seen before, some characters that we haven't. It's got it all, and it's done really, really excellently. As in Joe's normal, everybody has stuff going on. Even Mahou, who is like the least interesting and the most like, like, what is this guy's deal? He's like. Yeah, he that one little paragraph for him, he's like, "Oh yes, the sword that General Malzagurt gave him. General Malzagurt was the same general who had besieged Adua inside of Last Argument of Kings." And he says he hates using it, which implies he's more of a pacifist. And that one line adds so much depth to him, even though you don't get much else other than that. Other than the fact that him and Kernsbeck are probably maybe lovers. It seems to fit. The first time I read the book, like, listen, I love platonic relationships. Okay, I'm all about it. But from the first time they met, I always felt like they were a little bit, I don't know.
I don't think they really interact apart from this chapter, though.
That's true. We don't see them. They're in secret. Listen, I can have my fans.
I mean, we know that from Age of Madness, spoiler by the way, but we know that Kernsbeck is gay.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying.
But we don't know anything about Mahood in that kind of context.
You're right.
Just because he's caring for, I don't know. Like you said, you can do this ship. What are we going to call the ship? Is it Kernshood?
cartoon.
Mabrick, Mabic.
Maverick.
Oh, jeez.
I absolutely fucking love this chapter, and I do think we need to bring back the 9 and a knuckle because I still think that's a valid score.
9 and a knuckle. That's
Yeah.
breaking the scale.
But he's only lost a half of his middle finger, hasn't he? So he's still got a knuckle. So
But-
it's 9 and a knuckle.
Okay.
Are you counting?
I was looking at it. I was like, all right, I'll allow it.
I've done this 3 times on this podcast so far, and every single time you guys are like, "What?" And I'm like,
Well, whatever. I mean, I'll allow it again.
yes,
Go for it.
9 and a knuckle, absolutely beautiful. I love this chapter so much. Glamour Golden is just such a fucking great lens to see this through. Like, this is an excellent way of just showing how scary Logan is.
Yeah.
Not just because of what he does, but because of the reputation he has, and just saying like, "Oh shit, yeah,
It's him.
that's this guy. Yeah, that's him."
You know
It's
what?
the boogeyman. It's like
It's the
John Wick,
boogeyman.
you know? Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is if I was Glamour and I saw that it was the Bloody Nine, I would have ran away. I would have
Yeah,
ran.
you would
the
have.
fuck-
Oh, fuck this! Oh, no
Like,
bag
really?
of gold is worth fighting this guy.
Fuck that. I mean, he might have chased me down anyway, but still, I would at least try to run.
Absolutely, and with all of the other characters, we got B and Greg Cantus's sort of abusive relationship, which is absolutely one of the best terrible things that I've read in these books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
With
relatable.
actual torture and murder.
Yeah, it's like straight up. But you know what about that B relationship? I do like how, despite all that, so she's like still not
She
over
snapped
it
out
yet.
of it.
Well, she did snap out of it, but she also doesn't like. I like how it's not just like I've had enough. It's all over now. Like she still doesn't want to kill him. I think that's such a good detail.
But
Not
she
because he
can't do
doesn't
it.
deserve it or something. Because yeah, she's not ready for that step. She's just ready to be done with him. You know.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina, though, that if Gregor Cantless hadn't have come back,
Hey,
that it probably wouldn't have gone that way.
people say this. People say his books are grim, dark, and all that shit.
But it makes sense. Like he's like you say, like
He's
it
a
makes,
piece of shit.
Yeah, he is a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit.
deserves
Yeah,
it.
so Harrison, I gave that one a 9 and a knuckle. I've done that before, and you cannot dispute me.
He does have a knuckle, but
It is the best. This is the best Little People chapter.
you say that every Little People chapter.
I say
George.
that
I love
for
you,
every-
but my
You
God,
do.
Only half of them. Only half of them. Are the best.
Nah, I mean, I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 9 fingers as well. I would do 9 out of knuckle, but I like to. That's George's thing, so I'm gonna let George have that. But top marks for me. Love this chapter. Love the interactions we get from everybody. Love the details. I mean, we see even more firsthand of Gregor's fucking whining, self-pitying, solipsistic fucking outlook, and it sucks. Ugh. I'm glad Shy stabbed him. I'm upset Shy didn't kill him, but obviously with George, like you mentioned, Glamour's perspective of realizing he's standing across from the Bloody Nine, it's got to be pants-shittingly terrifying. What else? I mean, we got Savian being a good actor. Look at this. Would have thought it was Lestek for a second. What else? We got Papa Ring's perspective. We already know about the mayor. We know who that is. Falcon. I mean, it's just a great.
I
chapter.
do like the fact that Papa Ring is actually relatively principled.
He is.
He's like, yeah, I might be a piece of shit that just has to do what he's got to do, but I do say what I'm gonna. I do what I'm gonna say, or say what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah,
He's a
right.
man of principles. You're right about that. Well,
I also like the fact that we confirmed as well that he would not hurt or hurt the mayor.
yeah,
if
he
she
did.
lost.
Yep. You're right about that. He needed to stack the deck in his favor, but he did say he wouldn't hurt the mayor.
if only he knew that he was in the First Law universe.
Papa Ring too innocent for this world.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Yeah, so we got a 9 out of 9 across the board. George gets the 9 and a knuckle. That's his customized score. And we'll move on to our character spot, boys. I mean, since it's a little people chapter, that means we're gonna choose a couple, more than one person, right?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go first.
And certainly not because I have some other priorities right now. Man, I'll be honest, it's actually really hard to pick because there's a lot of good ones. I like everybody's perspective here. But
Just choose one.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna choose.
You know how hard it is. Okay, I'll be honest. I really like Golden's, and maybe it's just because of the Logan perspective. But like having that on there, see all this shit I give out Logan, the aura. Logan is the absolute aura farmer of all time. he and you know what's cool? It's like he's like the only one who does it. Everybody else is like, oh, I don't know how to fight. Oh, this is so clumsy. Oh, I hate fight. Oh, just do what I have to do. Logan's like, I fucking love this shit. I mean, Gorse is too. But Gorse is like bent down to business. Logan, he's like, check this out. I bet you're scared now. I've been working on this a little while, you know?
Logan's like,
I've been doing this in the mirror.
Logan's like, hey, watch what I do watch what I do with this cheek. like Gorse is all about.
Don't you appreciate this, Golden? So, and I like how Golden too is like the perfect antithesis to like Logan. Like he's all, like you said, this is work for him. This is all business. Logan's all into it. It's the difference between somebody who does something for a living and somebody who does something because they love it and it's shown in the fight. It's just, I think it's such a good parallel to have. Like you would think like, oh, they're having some Northmen fight, okay, but Joe writes it so well to have this guy who's actually a pretty good dude. There's a lot of pretty good dudes in this book and in this chapter in particular. And Glamour Golden, not saying he got in the circle, he knew what was up, but man, his reaction, his solemnness, yeah, what a good little add-in right character for somebody who just was like a kind of a toss away in the last book. So,
well, I like what's his name? Falcon
Punch.
Fucking hell.
Falcon Punch.
Yeah, I love the everyman. He's just the barber, and I love the fact that he sees these two people who he immediately realizes that, like, yeah, one of these people are gonna kill the other, and he's just kind of trying to keep a brave face on it and be a professional, which is what every barber should be, you know.
Yeah, he's the epitome of a barber, isn't he?
yeah. Actually, knowing how to cut hair is one half of it. The other half is knowing how to talk to your customers. I think that's fantastic, because when I go to the barber, we just sit in silence for 20 minutes. Brilliant.
That's fucking weird, George.
You don't say anything?
I'm taking you to American barber next time.
joking.
Jesus.
I say.
That's the next thing we're doing when you come back here. We're going to a fucking barber.
Yeah, taking you to a barber. Okay. Do you want to add anything to Falcon discourse, Harrison, or George? Do you want to add anything to the Glamour discourse?
No, I love Glamour Golden. Is such. I don't know how Glamour Golden ended up being a tragic character.
Easy. Calder framed him for murder and then drove him into exile.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because when we see him in the Heroes, he's so hateable. And we're just like, this puffed up little idiot. He's just obsessed with like wearing gold armor and shit. Like what a terrible stereotype, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then he ends up being a really sad.
hero.
Yeah, damn.
Did you do your?
Not yet. Mine.
Goddamn it, Jeffrey.
Mine is Camling. Camling.
No.
The
Is that
owner
why?
of-
Because you hate women?
Purveyor of the worst
I said-
food in the far
I said
country.
Camling, not Cantless. Why do you think I hate women?
Hamling owns a hostelry. You know what they do in hostelries?
Yeah, he
Jeffrey.
serves food, idiot.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
serve
That's something
food.
different to you.
I don't know.
I'm reaching.
That's that homeschooled education showing its teeth once again.
Oh my god.
It's
Jeffrey.
been a while since I brought that up. I like Camling because he reminds me so much of E.B. Farnham, and it's not fair. It's truly not fair for him that he gets the end that he gets. All right, unlike Gregor Cantless, who always
Genuinely
complains-
trying to do his best, right?
What?
This guy is genuinely just trying to do his best like 95% of the time.
He is. I mean, he serves shit food. But
Yeah, but that's all you can get out there, you know.
yeah. He talks with like a Shakespearean air, right? He hopes to bring culture. So I bet you anything, he was the one that probably wrote to Yosef Lestek and tell him to come over to Crease. I bet you.
He was.
He was for sure.
I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, Yosef Lestek does say that.
He's there to bring culture to Crease.
Yeah, he must have got that idea from somewhere.
Yeah, right? Why the fuck would he do that randomly? So he's enthusiastic at being a referee. I don't know as to his competence because he ended up dying the match he was refereeing. But he'll always, forever in my heart, be the first all version of E.B. Farnham, man of Reader's Digest. So that's my choice for the character spot. The three of we get to choose 3 different people for this last people chapter read through, and that'll be all, folks. So that's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the 3 of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we cover Old Friends, Nowhere to Go, and In Threes.
And make sure you follow us on all of our social media or send us an email at circleoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from, and YouTube. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening. So fucking unfair.